It was a case that left an entire Georgia town stunned and searching for answers. A seemingly close-knit family. A peaceful community. Two beloved parents, James and Kristen Brock, found brutally murdered in their own bed. And for months, no arrest, no suspects, just silence. Until this week, James and Kristen lived in Carrollton, Georgia, a quiet, close-knit town just over an hour south of Atlanta. They were known for their devotion to their church, their warmth, and their love for their children. James, in particular, was described as a doting father. Just a day before his death, he posted a heartfelt message on Facebook. "When I'm down and don't feel good, I find comfort in this little girl," referring to his youngest daughter. Within 24 hours, he and Kristen would be dead, shot execution style in their bed, discovered by that very same daughter. Just 6 years old at the time, the murders took place on February 20th. There were no signs of forced entry, no items stolen, nothing to suggest a break-in or robbery. At first, it looked like the perfect mystery, a community reeling, investigators with few public leads, and a case that quickly went cold. Kristen's father even offered a $5,000 reward, calling the killings cold-blooded. But behind the scenes, detectives were slowly piecing together a disturbing picture, one that would ultimately lead to an unimaginable suspect. This week, authorities made an announcement no one saw coming. 17-year-old Sarah Grace Patrick, Kristen's own daughter, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault. At the time of the killings, she was just 16 years old, but what truly shocked the public was what came after the crime. Sarah Grace didn't disappear into the background or withdraw from public life. In fact, quite the opposite. She attended her parents' funeral. She stood at the podium and delivered a eulogy. "Although there's nothing we can do to bring them back, we still have control over how we treat people," she said to mourners gathered in the same church her parents once prayed in. Her composure was chilling. No one suspected that the alleged killer might be standing right there in front of them. And then came the TIK to KS. In the weeks following the murder, Sarah Grace began posting tributes to her parents. In one now infamous video from March 1st, she uploaded a slideshow of memories, captioned, "They don't know it, but a year from now, me and my 5-year-old sister would find them wrongfully shot in our home and won't get to watch me graduate. High school see me walk down the aisle and couldn't even say goodbye." Another clip shows her crying, asking for prayers. In one posted on Mother's Day, just months after her mother was killed, Sarah called Kristen her ultimate inspiration. The captions portrayed a girl in mourning. But investigators say it was all an act, a calculated, ongoing deception. Law enforcement now claims there is a mountain of evidence tying Sarah Grace to the murders. What kind of evidence, they're not saying yet. But they've confirmed she was the one who called 911, and they say digital evidence, including her social media activity and possibly her phone data, played a key role in leading to her arrest. There are even more disturbing elements. According to reports, it wasn't Sarah who discovered the bodies, but her 5-year-old sister. That child allegedly found her parents dead and had to alert Sarah, despite them all being in the same home. That detail raised eyebrows. Why didn't Sarah hear the gunshots? Why didn't she find them first? Questions that now seem far more relevant in hindsight. Sarah Grace lived in the home at the time of the murders, but had also reportedly spent time bouncing between relatives in recent years. Her relationship with her parents is still unclear, and law enforcement hasn't confirmed a motive. But in cases like these, experts say motives can range from deep-seated family tension, to emotional trauma, to mental health struggles, or even seemingly minor conflicts that escalate far beyond control. Investigators are now combing through Sarah Grace's digital footprint. They're looking for signs of planning, conversations with friends, any hint of co-conspirators, or signs of premeditation. Was the gun used a family weapon? Was it locked away, or did she bring it in from outside? That distinction alone could determine whether this was a crime of opportunity or cold, calculated murder. Crime scene expert Alina Burrows, a former CSI, says domestic homicides are among the hardest to crack. When the suspect and the victim live together, normal forensic evidence, fingerprints, hair, clothing fibers lose meaning. Of course you'd find Sarah's DNA in the home. She lived there. But placing her at the scene of the murder at that exact moment requires something more. Smoking gun, both figuratively and literally. In this case, there were no signs of a break-in. Nothing stolen, no defensive wounds. The Brocks were found in bed, a position that suggests they were killed while asleep, completely unaware. That makes the brutality all the more chilling, and the theory of self-defense almost impossible. Despite the horror of the crime, Sarah Grace was not arrested right away. Law enforcement took their time. They followed the evidence. And once the case against her became airtight, they moved in. Sarah was reportedly told she was going to be charged, and she turned herself in. Driven to the police station by her biological father at just 17 years old, Sarah Grace is now facing life in prison. She's being charged as an adult, and the public is struggling to understand how a teenager, a daughter, could be accused of such violence while maintaining a public persona of grief and innocence. But cases like this, experts say, are more common than we like to admit, especially in situations involving trauma, family dysfunction, or hidden psychological issues. Now, the legal process begins. Prosecutors will lay out their evidence. The defense may argue mental illness, trauma, or even abuse. Was there something deeper going on behind closed doors in the Brock household? Or was this a calculated act from a teenager angry at her parents? That remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: this case has shaken an entire community, and the trial of Sarah Grace Patrick will likely be watched closely by the nation. As for the Brock's surviving daughter, just 6 years old now, she's reportedly living with relatives. And one day she have to learn the truth of what happened that February night, when the people who loved her most were taken away, allegedly by the one person they never saw coming.